We're going to talk about all female reboots and the fact that, oh boy, Amazon Prime, you're going to be making a mistake here, guys. You really are. Mm-hmm. And I have a more nuanced perspective on this than just that it's bad.
Why, Brett?
We're going to talk about it being lazy and...
What?
Yeah, lazy. It is extremely lazy, and it's kind of, the second article goes into more. I went and found an actual article from a feminist website that I think gives a more nuanced take on why this is not the greatest idea, why they're doing this, why when they do this, it's stupid. So it says, Amazon Prime Video demands more all-female reboots because Ghostbusters 2016 went so well. We love that movie. My favorite is like, it doesn't even have to be all female reboots. It's just the genre we're in right now. Like the Charlie's Angel movie that came out in 2018, which is not an all female reboot. It's already a cast of females. It's just the most joyless, unfun, boring movie you've ever seen. And it's because it goes against what the original statement of that was to be fun and sexy and exotic locations, all that stuff. And instead it becomes just this dull, boring, can't show anything cool because men might like it. All the men are bad and one-dimensional. All the women are perfect at their job.
Wait, so why is Amazon asking for all-female reboots?
So it says, Amazon Prime Video revealed that they want to subvert
expectations.
I literally, like, there's no phrase that I run faster from than, all that means is we didn't want to tell the story. If you're telling your own story, that's awesome. If you're telling a story that's already established, it's not your job to subvert expectations.
Right.
It's your job to adapt it properly.
Right.
So it says, Prime Video revealed that they want to subvert expectations and turn more classic films into feminist art by making more all-female reboots. Amazon feels like their Prime Video catalog of content is not diverse enough. So specifically when it comes to pro-feminist films and shows, because you know what I think of? I think of activism when I want to escape from the real world. That's what I think about. I wake up, I'm like, you know what I want? I want this movie, but joyless and boring and full of messaging. That's what I love. I love it. It makes me so happy. They are asking fans to give them ideas for all-female reboots. Female-centric films and reboots in general have not performed well at the box office, as reports have demonstrated time and time again, and it's no surprise. I love this one here that's supposed to be like the 40-year-old virgin, but it's Anne Hathaway. God help us all. Or even worse, they made what men want rather than what women want. So female-centric films and reboots in general have not performed well at the box office, as reports have demonstrated time and time again. It's no surprise. When the characters are nothing more than gender-swapped duplicates of the originals, and the plots are nothing more than political propaganda, the outcome is generally a tedious and unentertaining jumble that people don't want to sit through and watch, especially at the cinemas. A fantastic illustration of why recreating a famous classic with an all-female cast merely the sake of diversity is a bad idea was Ghostbusters Answer the Call from 2016, which was directed by Paul Feig, who did Bridesmaids, and starred top-billed cast Melissa McCarthy. After a disastrous opening weekend and a dreadful run at the cinemas, the film barely broke even on its $190 million budget. The picture suffered even more when it came to critical reception. Even the Suicide Squad's female-only spin-off tanked in the theaters. They're talking about Birds of Prey and the what was it? It was the worst name for a movie ever. It was called like and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn, which literally whoever came up with that title deserves to be drop kicked across a table with pads on so they don't get hurt. We don't actually
just a light reminder.
A light reminder that idea was stupid.
Look, I'm just going to interrupt you to say this is a mega corporation wading into the territory that thousands of feminists, like women's study, liberal arts, theater majors would love to be in charge of.
Yep.
I feel like they are like, I don't know. Are the feminists commenting on the fact that it's like corporate takeover of their ideology again?
Is that Melissa McCarthy?
That's Melissa McCarthy's King Arthur.
Why does she look like that?
It says, however, the issue is never that they are female driven. The issue is evident that neither the characters nor the plot are engaging with when the film's primary aim is to market a political idea. Now, I actually want to point out that I think it's something different than this. This is this article here. It says, I'm a feminist and I think all female reboots are completely missing the point.
Did you write this? Are you a feminist?
Yes, that's me. They're not telling women's stories. They're telling traditionally male stories with female characters, which comes off as pandering and unrealistic, meaning like it's a lot easier to try and make an engaging spy thriller or a law enforcement television show or movie than it is to tell something that speaks to what females may actually want to watch, which is generally when women want to watch movies about spies and law enforcement officers, they want to see hot men.
I think this really is just another example of the collapse of creativity in the American cinematic universe. And I don't think that's true of everybody, but like, how many times, I mean, every time I've been on the show, I think we've mentioned someone is remaking a version of another thing, whether it's to have more minority representation, to be in the modern era, to have more women. And I just think that is boring.
Why can't you just make something new?
Why can't you make something new? Why can't you add a new perspective? Why can't you look for writers in new places? Why can't you use new material? Like I think
the studios won't let them.
I think the thing the studios are missing is like, just because you put, you know, your lead in a skirt doesn't make it a new movie. It doesn't make it more interesting. And I think it's dumb to continuously recreate something that's been successful. Like let that one stand alone and make something better or new and different. And
they don't even take, and it's even less, it's even more surface level than that. They take these characters and they change genders. They don't even add trials, tribulations, and roadblocks that would make it unique to their gender, meaning that woman who is now instead of a 6'3" guy, it's now a 5'3" woman. And they're not including the fact that she's much smaller than everyone and would need to fight in a different way to be able to win. She just beats up a bunch of guys that are obscenely bigger than her, which makes no sense whatsoever.
It's just laziness.
It's just lazy writing. So it says equal representation is a loaded topic. In some cases, it feels like we are all at different points in the same conversation. When it comes to entertainment, however, what we as an audience deserve seems easy enough. Entertaining content that truthfully depicts our communities, correctly represents us, and tells our stories in new and innovative ways. She's asking for a lot from Hollywood here. It says entertainment needs to be more aware of its influence, not in terms of box office and value for money, but as its makers of culture and method through which we record our shared histories. Now, this gets very flowery in its prose, but it says, where was the article? It says, all female reboots seem more like a lazy rewriting of history for an audience that has barely seen the same story, that has already seen the same story, by a studio that hopes the remake will bring in the same box office success as the original, but equality of the genders isn't about replacing one with the other, the way that all female reboots seem to imply. I remember watching Ocean's 8 in cinemas and wondering why this movie, who this movie was for. That's what we ask. I literally have a segment in here that says, who the hell is this for? Why would they care? Why would they want to watch a bunch of women do what was typically George Clooney's job? Right? When George Clooney was a huge box office draw, take those same women and tell an original story.
Well, the answer is like, you just don't. Again, it's just, to me, it's hard not to think that it's complete laziness or just like a lack of nuanced understanding of the differences between male and female consumers as well as artists and writers. Like, I don't know why this would satisfy any feminist. If you, as a feminist, would be like, they're making a female Ocean's whatever, or they're making a female Batman, like, thank goodness, we've really won the fight. Like, I don't identify as a feminist, so it's hard for me to completely... I can't pretend that I completely understand it. Face. No, like, why would you settle for
Here's
this?
Our leftovers. You can take these
or
leftover
like slap in the
characters.
face.
You're not good enough to market your own character. You have to use this one.
Yeah, and also, like, why don't they get their own stories completely? Like, why don't they get their own universes? And it's like, because we're lazy. Because we realize that if we make them female, you will buy the tickets to try and be like, it's good because women. And that's just like,
lazy marketing.
It's lazy marketing, and it is bad on the consumer for not being more critical and demanding higher standards in their entertainment.
Hollywood needs to pour its effort and money into telling stories from a perspective that has largely been ignored, not rehashing the same story and taping a different gender on the front cover. I agree. There have been plenty of sensational films that took the box office by storm over the years that have been loved by all audiences, regardless of gender. Hustlers, Bridesmaids, Bombshell, I don't know what Bombshell is, Hidden Figures, Booksmart, Greta Gerwig's Little Women, Mystic Pizza are just a few. I mean, if those are all feminist movies, the only one that I think I've seen in there besides Bridesmaids is Hidden Figures.
I've never seen that. I have seen
That's the one about the women.
the
from
Little
NASA.
Women's. I heard was like people loved it, but like it's if you actually like Jane Austen, I've heard it's really bad.
Yeah. So it says they told stories from the female perspective about females where femininity was given, not a plot point. Perfect. Yes. Tell those stories. Let the men be masculine. Tell the stories about masculine energy, whether that's building skyscrapers or saving the world, which are traditionally male-dominated fantasies, right?
Right.
The idea is that the guy wants to be on an airplane during a terrorist hijacking, and he wants to be the dude who prevents the terrorist attack.
Right.
That is a traditionally masculine desire. The women would want to protect the children and would want to make sure that the other people are safe. The guy wants to save the world.
Do you know what one of my favorite, like I would consider it a feminist film was of I think 2021? Did you guys either one of you see A Promising Young Woman?
Maybe.
It
I
is
heard of it.
really good. It's sort of about like I don't know, rape culture on college campuses a little bit, but it's way more interesting, visually very intriguing. I loved it. I would consider it a feminist film, but it was just, I thought, really well done. And it is its own unique storyline with unique characters. It's a fresh take. It felt new. It made me want to watch it. Whereas I would never pay money on my life to watch a all-female cast put on something that I have already seen that was probably already good.
It's amazing how much leeway you give something when it's new. Like, there's a lot of stuff that I will watch that I probably, it's probably just okay, but I'm so used to everything being rehashed now that when it's new, I give it way more leeway. I started watching Kimmy, and it's kind of like a modern day interpretation of the movie The Conversation with Gene Hackman. It's a Francis Ford Coppola movie from the 70s, but it's a modern take on. It's not a rehashing of that movie. It's in the same vein of like now they're in that movie. He's a surveillance expert who's dealing with issues of surveillance in the 70s. This has to do with Kimmy is like an Alexa style device, right? And I'm watching it. It's not the newest idea in the world, but it's not based on something else entirely, and I give it a lot more leeway because of that. This is the paragraph that really made me pick this article, because this is a lot of the points where I think a lot of people have the same views, but they're coming at it from different perspectives, so they don't realize they have as much in common as they do.
Right.
This says, organic representation takes more than just casting diverse people for the sake of diversity. True representation will come when there's equal opportunity for all, regardless of gender, race, and sexuality, to own their own stories and take part in every step of the process of sharing them, from scripts to the screen. Until then, Hollywood needs to put new experiences and perspectives forward and not just churn out afterthought reassessments of movies from the past. The lasting effects of a film at the end of the day will be based on its own merit and not the political statement it tries to make. Beautiful. We're about to get Snow White redone. We're going to get The Little Mermaid redone. The Little Mermaid is what? That's not Swedish, but it's
Hans Christian Andersen.
Yeah, it's
Danish.
It's a famous Danish story. Snow White is
German.
And then we're getting Lord of the Rings, which they're redoing Lord of the Rings, which is traditionally based on European folklore, the Tolkien books. So it's like they just can't bring themselves to just Moana is a perfect example of finding new territory.
So and same thing in Encanto.
Yeah. And I would say like the Disney movie Frozen, that's new.
Yes.
Even the one that came before it, Tangled, is like the retelling of Rapunzel, but it's new and fresh.
Yes.
It's better.
Yeah, and it also like encourages girls, like, you don't have to be afraid to leap into the new world. You can build yourself as a new person.
I don't think it's bad to take inspiration from fairy tales. It's just that like you have to make the story your own. You can't just like, in this case,
When they just
change who's playing the roles and
exactly
the same thing.
When they just open a book of like, the Book of Grimm, like they should just open that whole book. There's so many fairy tales that they never chose. Like I just watched like this movie review, and like Japan got the story, like the Big Bad Wolf, where like the original story is like a mother goat tells her kids like, don't answer the door or the wolf is going to get you. And what happens is, in the original German story, she has 7 little goats, so little kids, all 6 get eaten. One survives, tells the mother. She sees the wolf like resting because he just finished eating them, and luckily she cut his stomach open. But in the Japanese retelling, she finds him, but the kids are like all messed up by the stomach acid, and she tells them like, yeah, don't open the door, I'll be back. And like she mistakes a human child as her own kid that she's missing because one didn't survive. And I just like the whole story because like basically the human child, his father finds him, but he turns into the big bad wolf, and basically like is starting to do a little bit things that are a little bit inappropriate towards the child, and like the mother is like, nope, we're killing him now. And it's like a new retelling of an old story of like the big bad wolf and stranger danger. Like, don't answer the door because something's gonna happen.
Stranger danger, very damaging program.
Yeah.
It's all crazy.
So
Yep.
It just says
Don't step in the white van.
all female reboots of existing movies are a cop-out from actually delving into female stories. The conversation about the representation of all genders, races, sexualities, abilities, and everything else that makes the human experience distinct and unique is now more open than ever. Studios funding projects that swap male characters for female only miss the point of actually telling stories about women. That's the thing. They don't believe that the stories about women are going to bank bigger audiences. I think they don't have faith that the writers that they're employing and the directors that they're employing can tell fun, unique, interesting stories about the female experience, so they just swap them out for traditionally more masculine and easier to convey stories of a male style of heroics. And I think that that does a disservice to the writers and directors because you're not challenging them. It does a disservice to the actors who are not getting a chance to stretch their legs and do something different and find a new way to tell a new story. And everyone loses because of it. So that is my soapbox on this issue, where I'm like I said, this is not some crazy alt-right conspiracy theory. This is a feminist website talking about feminist issues, and they're saying they're not being given what they deserve in Hollywood, and I agree.
Two of those actors really suck. Just saying.
Who? I see Awkwafina there.
Awkwafina sucks as an actor, and then Mindy, she's okay, but I just hate her.
Why don't you like Mindy Kaling?
She's like, because before the whole like progressive movement, like she was heavily into it, and like she was like telling people like, yeah, you should watch this is really great. She made like her own TV show where it's all about her.
The Mindy Project?
Yeah, it wasn't that funny. I'm sorry.
The Mindy Project. Thank you for that.
I'm
Miracles shade. We'll have a segment each day. Miracle throws shade.
I'm sorry, and they're also minorities too, if you point it out. But like, I'm not dissing on that, but they're just terrible actors.
Okay. All right. Well, there you have it. Moving on.
Slowly, Miracle is turning into an old cranky old man.
Very cranky old. Well, that would make you a cranky old woman.
Nah.
Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.
Bye.